Good evening. Welcome to Ubuntu channel. And tonight we do have the usual program called My Point of View. And this program is designed to actually give you the highlights and headlines of the week to which you get to react. My name is Chaza to host it right here. I'll be joined by Mr. Mukelawai to also be on the panel. And as usual, getting to react to the stories that we do have right here on the program. Mr. Mukelawai, good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Chaza, and good evening, viewers. It's good to see you and to see and happy Easter. Wishing everyone happy Easter. I hope you are having a wonderful and splendid time as we remember the day when Jesus was betrayed, put to death, and resurrected. So, good Easter. Happy Easter, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and wishing you a happy Easter as well. Even the people out there that are here following the program, be it on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. We greatly appreciate that you are there and definitely wish you a happy Easter. And we welcome you to participate on the program. You can let us know where you are following the program from. And you can actually participate by leaving a comment right in the comment section. And if you like to join us live on SET, you can click on the link, and that link will bring you to the studio right here. Let's take a look at the first story that we have tonight, and we're coming back on the other side for reactions.
They are coming with an investment of over $1 billion United States dollars, and stakeholders on the Copper Belt are expectant. President Hakainde Hichilema is tomorrow expected in Kitwe on the Copper Belt to hand over Mopani Copper Mines to Delta Mining Limited, a subsidiary of International Holding Resources of the United Arab Emirates.
This one is basically coming to make sure that you officially hand over Mopani. I'm sure you know some people thought it was a joke, but tomorrow it will be shown to everyone.
The Mopani plays a very big role in economic activities. All the people, whether you are selling at Chisokone, when contractors and suppliers are supported and are boosted, it is a two-way thing. It creates employment, and also the social life changes.
And a mining engineer, Boniface Matanda, said the investment at Mopani Copper Mines will create employment and business opportunities.
Zambia is a mining country, a mining destination. So this news is very big, it's huge. And it's proving that the government is on the right track. The New Dawn government is on the right track to bring development. Copper Belt is mining.
Mine Suppliers and Contractors Association of Zambia President Costa Mwaba wants the new investor to also maintain the current management at the company.
Assembly want to commend His Excellency again for the tireless effort in ensuring that Mopani is resolved, and we have retained 49% shareholding. And we are also hearing that management will be maintained.
The unions are looking for stable jobs and good conditions of service.
The company, as it settles down, it will be able to actually reward and award the workers handsomely for holding on to the asset in good shape, even in conditions that were not favorable.
Chembe Mbale, ZMBC News.
There we have it, an expression of happiness and a glimpse of hope coming to the Copper Belt by the envisaged revamping of MCM. An investor has come forth with over 1 billion kwacha to actually reinvest in the company, and this has brought a lot of hope in businesses on the Copper Belt. Mr. Mkelawai, your reaction?
Thank you so much, Chaza. What we see in Zambia today is exactly what the current government promised, that they were going to work onto the issues to do with mines that were closed. Mupani mine, we all know that it has not been in operation for a long time, that all the employees, all the suppliers, all those people that were benefiting indirect or direct from Mupani mine had lost hope, that because the mines were closed. And the people that closed the mines are well known within the country. That's why we even had the courage to chase them out of office because they were not doing the right thing at the right time, you know. And now the person they are busy calling names, he is walking the talk, and he is busy proving them otherwise. And unfortunately, it's so sad to hear that even after the effort that has been made by this current government under difficult circumstances, under heavily indebted economy, they managed to pull through such a deal. That to us goes to show how patriotic, how this current government, how they value and how they love the Zambian people, and how they want to see other Zambian people's lives to change for better. So we can tell that with such kind of leadership, one can only imagine, had we had this current government in 2011 to come into office, where was Zambia going to be today as we speak? So anyway, we have to thank God for having shown us, for having given us the previous regime that performed to the best of their ability, whatever they did in their mind, in their heads, with their convictions, they did the right thing. Unfortunately, that did not go to an average Zambian or most of the Zambians, the majority, because we saw the dividends. The dividends were so negative that today we are still struggling, trying to put ends meet because of bad and poor decisions that were made by our colleagues that we had put in the office that were doing job on training. They had no idea how to run the economy. And we are paying heavily for it. We should not blame them so much. I don't like it when we point a finger at them, because we too are to blame. We, the Zambian people, are to blame. We brought this to ourselves. We did this to ourselves. This was a self-infliction. We thought by giving a sympathy vote, by bringing in Edgar Chagwa Lungu, things were going to be okay. But now that has opened our eyes that those people we bring after Nsamboliamfa, those that inherit Pensamboliamfa or property sharing or whatever, those who inherit positions or husbands and wives, they always have a negative effect. And this is what we are going through today. And it's not on Edgar Lungu's head, because in Edgar Lungu's head and all the PF, they did the right thing. Because we put them there because we had confidence in them. And by so doing, they were trying to show us that they were performing in their own mind. Even when they were busy giving us those idioms of saying, "Uomba mwivala, afwele alia mwivala." to them, it was part of the agenda that they thought we voted them in. So we need to understand that we should not blame so much to them entirely. We should look at ourselves to say, we are the people that brought these people in. So if UPND today or tomorrow does something negative, it is us at the end of the day that actually brought them into office. And we have to take the blame. Vicariously, we are also liable. So we have to mind when we point at Edgar Lungu together with his government being incompetent, we should also look at our fingers that they're also pointing back at us. We, the people, did this. So it is a wonderful gesture under difficult circumstances, and that's why we decided to bring HH together with his team into office. But now this should not give HH, should not make HH a big head. No. HH should just be on the ground.
Right, Mr. Mkilabai, just allow me to welcome Ribet on the program. Ribet, good evening and welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good evening.
Okay, we are glad to have you on the program. And before Mr. Mkilabai could conclude on his reaction, I will invite you also to react to the story that we do have at hand.
Unfortunately, I've just joined. I didn't see the story, so I will comment maybe on the next story. Maybe if you can just briefly highlight.
Okay, the story that we have is the re-injection of investment in Mopani copper mines on the copper belt, and this has brought joy in organizations, and unfortunately we've lost him. Okay, welcome back, Ribet. Are you getting me?
Yes, I'm getting you.
Oh, okay. So it has brought, some happiness, smiles, on the faces of businesses, because it is seen to be a business opportunity for suppliers to the mines, and also a ripple effect on the surrounding environment right on the copper belt. I don't know if it makes sense. Then we can have a cent from
it. It does. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think the truth be told, our economy as it is, I think from inception since 1964, it's the backbone is the mining. So if you look at it, like the time that the Patriotic Front came, the mining industry started limping. And we had those squabbles with KCM. Those are major mining companies. Now, this one also, Mopani, was almost going. But now the coming back of this investor to invest, I think it's in all fairness, we are right actually to celebrate. Even us, even if you don't have business, the trickle effect, will definitely see it, because once the production now begins in Mopani, and now if the KCM, the issues are resolved, also comes into effect, you find that actually the economy definitely will be pushed such that we'll begin to see even the dollar itself, it will stabilize. It will stabilize, and all these things that the cost of living definitely on the long run, they will start now actually be normalized. People will be able to afford to buy or to have 3 meals in a day, because the economy will start slowly building up and growing. So it's a plus for me, for the government. And actually, if you look at the transactions, it's 49 by 49 and 50%. It's almost like 50-50. So the shareholding is a plus for me again, because it is not like those where you find that the investor will get maybe 70%, then the government will just get 30%. For this one, for me, it's a good deal, and it will really actually help this government and even the country at large, because the government they announced when they came in to say that they will need to have they want to increase the copper production, so that at least, because the copper is there, but now the problem that was there, we lacked investment. But now, if they have started the way they have started coming in, I think we are heading in the right direction. I submit.
Thank you so much, Ribet. We do appreciate. Mr. Mkelawa, you may conclude on your thought.
Yes, I think as Ribet has put it, that it is important that we have to understand and appreciate the efforts that are being made by the government. But also we need to this does not mean that the government has to abrogate the law just to get ahead of their promises that they made. If they follow the right procedure in acquiring a partner that will acquire or rather run the mines, and they follow the right procedures, then why not? But they should not break the law. They should not cut shortcuts, but everything should be done within the law, within the scopes of the Constitution, what the Constitution outlined. Because I hear the opposition, they're crying. Instead of being happy, instead of being in a celebratory mode, especially those that put us in this mess in the first place, they are the ones now coming up with another excuse that despite this positivity, despite this the milestone, there is a caveat that the president, together with his team, they have violated the constitution in the manner in which they brought in this investor. See, they are doubting. They have now having questions to say, in what capacity, how did we bring? That's the problem with us Zambians. Where we see, where we see there's progress, there will be always some chaps somewhere that will find some negativity and say something. So if the opposition, my advice to the opposition is that if you think and feel that this government has abrogated the law on the Constitution, instead of crying the loudest on top of the mountains, let them institute legal proceedings. Let them take up an action within the rightful procedures. If at all they are the ones that purport to follow the Constitution, let them go and follow the law, and let's hear it from the adjudicators that are going to come up with a decision to make. If at all they are guilty, then that's it. Then the contract can be declared null and void. It's possible. We can terminate the contract if at all the investor is fake, according to what they say. But for now, we are very comfortable with the current government that they are representing the voices of the voiceless. So, and they have done the right thing at the right time, and we just need to proceed with what they have done. Otherwise, it's a kudos, it's a plus, and that is making those that destroy this nation uncomfortable because they are being proven otherwise. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much. We do appreciate. Let's take a look at the next story, and we are coming back right here for reactions.
The declaration of drought as a national disaster that has threatened food security has started garnering attention among global partners. From far afield, China says it is working at assisting Zambia with emergency food to respond to the effects of the drought on threatened food security.
We are now working hard to mobilize large-scale emergency humanitarian food assistance to help Zambia overcome the current difficulties. as a demonstration of the all-weather friendship between our two peoples and a case in point of the future we share together when it comes to meeting global challenges.
Mr. Wang also says China is engaged in extensive discussions regarding the commercialization and revitalization of the Tazara rail line. At the same event, UPND consultant Mark Semoe said Zambia needs to learn from how China has used philosophies from other parts of the world to blend with the local principles to develop.
As at 2019, China's investment in Zambia had exceeded over $6.5 billion. That is a milestone for this country. A case in point that we can give is the NFC on the Copper Belt, which has employed thousands of citizens of this country.
China's foreign policy direction is that of pursuing global peace, development, cooperation, and mutual benefit.
And Zambia Institute for Policy Analysis and Research, ZIPA, Executive Director Harry Kimpuku, called for the convergence of Zambia's and Chinese development aspirations.
Zambia needs to develop its infrastructure, enhance production and international trade, improve the livelihoods and social conditions of its people, and for this, it will need to work closely with the international community and China in particular.
Through the skills transfer and technology exchange initiatives, the Chinese experts have over the years empowered the Zambian personnel, fostering a culture of self-reliance and entrepreneurship.
Meanwhile, Director of the Confucius Institute of the University of Zambia, David Mwanza, described China's foreign policy as the most humane because it does not interfere in other countries' internal affairs.
Instead of just getting support, we need to learn. Learning from the principles and values that have made China to develop and prosper.
This relationship transcends the bilateral ties between our two governments to embrace ordinary citizens of both countries.
Wasauso Mukwayaya, ZNBC News.
Things have, come out prominent in this story. That the first one is that, China is willing to, render aid and assist Zambia as regards, the current situation that, Zambia has been hit with. And we're talking about the drought spell. And the other issue alludes to the revamping of the rail system. I think on one of the stories that we've presented right here, we talked about this issue where the government is having talks with China so that, the rail system in Zambia can be revamped. I'll invite, you, Rebet, to come first and react to this story.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. If that's the whole instance, actually, why the president actually announced that the drought spell is a disaster. And for that announcement, it means that the international community should be aware, because we are living in a global village. As the president normally says that a conflict in, for example, in Uganda is also a conflict in Zambia. So we are living in a global village, and if us, like the way we have this drought, definitely we need to call for help. It's like you have a problem in the house, or maybe there is a snake in the house that has entered, and you have maybe, for example, you don't have tools to use actually to kill that snake. What do is you call for help from the outsiders, that those people that do not live in the house. And that does not mean that actually there are no efforts you yourself that you are doing. So I like the stance of the Chinese government, where they would have announced to say that actually they are planning, or they are already maybe putting in place measures of how they are going to help the Zambian people with direct food, not to give them like maybe mandatory form, but the food itself. So that in itself actually it will help the Zambian government, because they will be able to actually to take this food and distribute to the most hit areas in our country, because this disaster for real, if it is not taken care of, it's the disaster itself, as the name is. So we really appreciate for the move that the Chinese government has taken, because China is the second largest economy in the world. So we really have to work hand in hand with them, because there are a lot of things that actually Chinese governments is doing in our country, as we have heard the way the Marcus Moe said it. So I think for now I will stop there.
Thank you so much, Ribet. We do appreciate it. Mr. Mkelawai.
Thank you so much, Chaza. Well, China and Zambia have a very good bilateral relationship, and China being the major investor in Zambia's infrastructure projects, we have seen that even with the previous government, we have seen the role that Chinese have played in our country, or in our economy, and part of the debt that we have as a country actually belongs to the Chinese, and it is always a good feeling to see them coming in the times of need, when we need help, and they are the first one to come on the scene to come and help, or to show the willingness to help, to lend a hand in terms of providing technical aid during this drought. And of course, with the revamping of our railway system, and if they do that with our railway system, this will help the Zambian, they will help a lot improve transportation infrastructure, which can facilitate the movement of goods and aid to those affected areas. You know that. And we all know how Chinese machineries work. Mbaleta matreni yao na vigusu vavo, valeta njanji zao wazipanga mushemushe. We are going to benefit a lot, and nama trucks ya anybody nayo, yes. But we have to also understand that the government, the current government, when they were in the opposition, they also threw some stones, on the Chinese, that we were too much dependent on them at that time. And you know how Chinese have found a way to the hearts of Africans. In most African countries, the Chinese government have really penetrated. They're in the middle, in the center of the economy. They are the ones, they're the cheapest, they're providing all these facilities that our African leaders finding it easy to access, because the West, they're coming up with a lot of restrictions and conditions that put us as an African continent to be beggars. But the Chinese, they strike a balance, a 50-50 balance. So we really need to look at that and say, okay, fine, if we are benefiting and we are also sharing these innovative ideas. I don't know what innovative ideas that we as Africa are giving to China, if we are not dependent only onto them that are giving us aid. I haven't seen anything that we as African are doing, except for the minerals that we are giving them access to our minerals, where they take the minerals and take it to their countries and develop their countries, and they give us, of course, the knowledge. But anyway, despite all these things, these challenges, we know that the Chinese government means well, but we also need to handle them with care because we don't want them to end up like the Europeans or the Western world that have taken advantage, coming up with stiff punishment or conditions that are going to make us slaves. We need to be very careful. Our governments, they should just not be dependent, but they should also come up with a stronger consideration on their side as well when they are coming up with these bilateral agreements. Otherwise, it's good to hear that China is willing to come and offer to lend a helping hand in the times of need, and that we should thank them for that. And we know that the relationship, this cordial relationship between Africa, Zambia in particular, with China, will continue. But we want our Zambian people to also be able to go and invest in China or help the Chinese. It should not be just one-sided. That's what I can say for now. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much, Mr. Mkelabai. And indeed, as long as it is in the best interest of our country, we are here to actually look forward to its fruition. This is Ubuntu Channel, and you are watching My Point of View. Let's go straight to the next story.
Zambia National Service ZNS officers loading all medical items at the Hero Stadium Cholera Treatment Center in Lusaka. The center has been closed due to the reduced number of cholera cases. These items are being moved to the Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency, ZAMSA, for safe storage. Health Minister Sylvia Masebo said yesterday that the Hero Stadium Treatment Center will now be handed back to the Ministry of Sports.
See, we are trying to hand over this facility back to Ministry of Youth and Sports. They're the owners of this building, yes, which we use. And so we are now using ZNS. They've come to our aid. About 230 officers are here to collect the remains of the donations, because we had quite a good number of donations, and not all of them were used. So what we are doing is we are taking everything to ZAMSA. Because ZAMSA is our procurement entity. Sure. Then we'll be getting the things from ZAMSA, just like we get the medications which they buy, whatever they buy for the facilities, so that we distribute these items to the districts that were affected by cholera.
And Ms. Masebo advised members of the public that cholera is not yet over.
It's not correct to say that cholera has finished. It has not finished, but now it's under control. And we are not recording deaths because the management of cholera has also improved with time. And since the numbers also are manageable, we are giving excellent health care. The communities themselves have been mobilized, they've been sensitized, and so the press have done a lot of good work in terms of raising an awareness about, how we contract cholera.
Meanwhile, a ward at Levi Mwanawasa Medical Hospital is now a permanent treatment center for cholera. Cecilia Ziambo, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
As a Minister of Health, and I'm glad that she has brought out, some aspects that are there to appreciate the media, for the role that they have played in sensitization, and also appreciating the communities, for them, being engaged in the fight against, cholera. And it's good that the numbers are now manageable. And the epicenter has been closed because the numbers are now manageable. And it's a good thing because we saw the closure of, schools as it were indefinitely at the time that they needed to open because of the pandemic. We are glad that, the level has reached, its management, level. Let me invite you, Mr. Mkelabai, to come first and react to this story.
We should not even be talking about cholera in the first place, where we have to start closing and opening. It's like those medications that have been sent to Zamra, is it Zamra or Zamsa? They're going to be, yeah, they are just going to store them to wait for the next strike of cholera again that is coming to affect us, because we are anticipating that there will be cholera next. Let's talk about prevention. Thank God the cholera now is under control, has been taken care of, but we should feel ashamed, be ashamed to be a country still suffering from a dirty disease. That's the dirty disease. What is our authority doing about it? When we talk about ending cholera, how do we end cholera when people are still living like pigs? They don't take care of themselves. They shit, they eat where they shit. That's not okay. We shouldn't be sick of cholera. That's a very disgusting disease. That's and it's preventable, by the way. It's very preventable. So,
where are we placing the blame? Are we placing the blame on the citizenry?
It's the I'm placing the blame on both.
I can see that much of it, we find that people are having access to water which is contaminated. For instance, they are drinking from shallow wells because they do not have access to clean water. So where exactly is the blame being placed?
Why would people even risk their lives? Because are they not aware that drinking contaminated water will kill them? Will kill them. In the first place, it's the people themselves, and together with the management or the so-called leadership. And we are the ones to blame. Our resources, instead of putting the resources together so that we can alleviate, we can put up measures to clean up our cities, our places. We misprioritize, we take our resources elsewhere. Many people, we have seen what happened with the previous government, where they were ending the money, the resources ended up in their pockets. You go and you construct the airport, your people yet are dying of preventable disease. The people that can't even afford to jump on a plane to go and use the same airport. How much money have we spent on that? We are busy trying to save our image from the world, international world, that by building up expensive malls and airports. Yet your own people, they are failing to drink clean water. You go and purchase a jet that's costing 300 million. That could have prevented. So it is the leadership. Sorry, my brother.
They said that they are bringing America to our country.
That's the problem. But before you bring America to our country, how do you inculcate that American mindset into our Zambian people? Probably that's what you need to do first. Instead of bringing Kutmoya letter, you can give people American dollars. But if they don't know how to utilize the American dollars, they will still be running around and be languishing in poverty. So for us, I understand. That's why I'm saying this topic in the first place should not even be talked about. There's nothing to thank the government for. There's nothing to thank, because we've lost innocent lives that ought to have been prevented, or that ought to be alive today. So yes, cholera can end, because probably it's also the season. Because if rainy season continued, we were still going to have people dying still up to date. Because people are still, you haven't changed their mindset yet. They're still drinking in the shallow waters. They don't care. And when they die, they want someone to blame. The government also is not putting up measures, permanent solutions that are going to make sure that people have access to clean water. I have seen somehow, maybe this government will make a change or make a difference. Maybe. Because I've seen that there's some wells that are being drilled or trying to put up measures that are going to prevent. That's where to go. There you are going to prevent more death. It's too late now. Who's going to compensate for the death of those people that we've lost from cholera already? As a loss, the country has lost the human resource, and we can't replace them. It will take time for us to have those very mind, the people that we lost, to be back. It will take years for them to grow, those we are giving birth to today. So it is a loss of a country. Yes, cholera has ended, but if rain season was to continue, ngatakwari drought, cholera to still continue killing our people. So I would have loved to simply say, thank you, the government, for having stopped this. No, I can't say that, because I know for the fact that come next year, we're going to go back into the same problem again, because we have not resolved the cause. The cause. What is the cause of cholera? What is the government doing about it? Of course, we know the government has so many issues to do. What is our people also doing about this? Our lives. What are we doing about it? Look at the Kabienma compound, Kabienma compound, look at the way they live. Look at the way they are. You can't neglect yourself from bathing just because you can't go to the toilet and wash your hands. Just because you just want to do, it's okay, you understand. Ignorance. You die. Ignorance is not a defense. We have information on our fingertips today in this country, in this world. We can Google, we can use our bundles, but instead of using our bundles for issues that were going to help us tomorrow, we're using bundles to politicize, to come leaders. That is the problem. And we shall forever be dying of simple preventable disease, or simple changing of traffic lights. We are failing to change a bulb. People are dying. At Iboma Yanganepo. We will die. So the best thing that we need to do is to be proactive and find permanent, sustainable solutions that are going to prevent this disease from breaking out. Let's maintain our drainage system properly clean. Right now, when there's a drought, we should take advantage of this drought and put up concrete, cement, clean our drainage systems, put up nice places. You don't need the government to come and sweep the dust, if it's also. You don't need the government to do that. It is you and me. So, hello, I know our health minister, Twalabe Bashan, Namubomba. But cholera, of course, it attacked the people in Lusaka mostly. Awabe Kalamakomba, mostly. Not other people that are living in other places. We haven't heard so much about people dying of Ifiko. Because cholera, to be honest, Ifiko. Let me end here. Thank you.
Right, that's Mr. Mkelawai. Thank you so much. We do appreciate. Let me invite you, Ribet. What's your reaction, to this story?
I understand Mkelawai's frustrations, and it is very true that cholera actually it comes from a dirty environment, and this is not the first time, and this might not be the last time that we are talking about cholera. So for me, I wouldn't want to say that cholera has ended. No, cholera has not ended, because as long as that is there, it means that cholera is there. It might not be maybe in the human beings, but cholera is still there, because as long as the environment that we live in is still dirty, then cholera is still there. So it has not ended. Now, interesting, I want to agree with Mom Kerabai. We should talk about prevention first. So So I want to take this route where cholera itself, it's a personal hygiene. Me personally, for example, I need to know that the food that I eat, for example, if I eat the food that is not well cooked, what are the consequences? 1. 2, if I eat the food that is actually flies are all over, what are the consequences to me personally? Before I talk about, because once I get sick myself, for example, in a home, then I will spread that disease. So what we need, I think the Ministry of Health, that what they need to do is first to start now, communicate, sensitize the people, so that the people have got that attitude or the mindset that they should know to say that I should not live in a dead environment. So to start with, if you were to go in Kanyama today, there are houses, there are people that right now as we are speaking, if you go there and see where they are just where they are sleeping or where they are cooking food from, you will be shocked. But now these are the very people that we would tomorrow they would die with cholera. Then they will start now crying to say that no, Boma Yanganepo, surely, with all honesty, you want government, and for argument's sake, what is government and who is the government? Because there will not be any government without us people. So when we say Boma Yanganepo, in simple terms, we are telling ourselves that we need to take or to look ourselves and what are we doing? Because if you are not doing anything, we fold our arms to say that no, government actually will bring people and they will give us chlorine so that they will put in this, or they will bury the shallow wells. In the first place, you or me personally, don't I know that if I drink in a shallow well, I will have a diarrhea disease? Honestly. So, what I would actually want to advise, or maybe the authority, what they should do is to make sure that if, like the president one time he said that if you have no plan in town, please go back to the village. Because these are the people that actually brings all these problems. So if you have literally nothing that you are doing, you are just today in the morning, you find people trekking, walking actually going into town. What are they going to do there? Just maringering, and there are no they don't even use public toilets in town. Where do they go? Those are the people that messes the place. And then they will be the loudest now to cry, to say that no, what is it that you are doing yourself at a personal level? Because it starts with me. What is it that I'm doing? The toilet that I'm using at home. Because I can't go to town where there is no toilet and I just sit anywhere. So where do I think that debt that I'm putting, who is going to collect it? So it really needs a change of mindset at a personal level. So I know a human being is a very, very difficult species, very difficult. But if the government or the authority can just come up with some of these things, they are easy. If you can do census the way we are doing census, go in these compounds, ask the people what are they doing, those that are in town. Then you start eliminating them. There are a lot of land in the villages. People are flocking to coming to town to do literally nothing. Instead of them go back to the farms and start farming so that they can be feeding us who are in town, who are doing something. Because if you are not doing anything, the best is go back to the village, grow crops, grow groundnuts, grow maize, grow sunflower, and supply. You have money. You will earn a living there. Because there are people that are there. Have you ever heard any cholera in the village? No. No. But we are the sanitary conditions that we have created ourselves, because these unplanned settlements are the ones that are breeding areas for cholera. So if the president actually, the way he said, if the followers, if they would take the directive that they should actually rearrange these compounds, I think for me, somehow that will help. But my emphasis on us as human beings, the personal hygiene, it starts with me before I go to the neighbor. Let me rest.
All right, thank you so much. And I'll say the team has, gotten strong on the issue of cholera, and the blame is actually placed on ourselves that, this is an issue of personal hygiene. And just to add on to that, I would say the government also is, to blame. And right now, I'd say they are on the right trajectory as regards providing, solutions, to this issue of cholera. We've seen that the government has embarked on, drilling of boreholes in some compounds, and we have also seen they've drained, the pit latrines, and there's a lot more that the government has embarked on to ensure that they get rid of this pandemic. And Ribet has suggested a very good idea that if somebody is not doing, anything at all, they must be repatriated. Repatriation has been proposed there. So you must be doing something. If you're not doing anything, you should be taken to the village. I think it's a good idea. This is Ubuntu Channel, and you are watching My Point of View. Straight to the next story.
The government's proactive measures to address water and sanitation challenges have gained praise and appreciation from various Kanyama residents. Lusaka District Administrative Officer Oniu Jia says government is committed to improve living conditions by partnering with organizations like the Muslim Social Welfare Trust to drill more boreholes across the district in all the 33 wards.
The president himself launched a borehole drilling program that cut across all the 7 constituencies. So several wards were catered for boreholes that were initiated by the president. So as a district, this was a very good development for us. It means that we widened the water provision in the district. Then we also have partners that are working with the government, and one of the prominent ones is the Muslim Social Welfare Trust, which also commissioned the drilling of boreholes in almost all the 38 wards in the district. That program has started, is running, and it's just yet to be completed.
Meanwhile, Chansa Bundala, a Kanyama resident, expressed gratitude for the borehole installation initiative, which has significantly alleviated water scarcity in the area.
The coming in help from the government, where they brought the tanks, it has kind of added up an advantage of development in finding water sources.
Another Kanyama resident echoed sentiments of improved access to water, highlighting the positive impact on the community's daily life. Justin Piri reports.
The news has spread fast. A 60-year-old man of Lusaka's Chainda compound has been picked up by police. This is after he allegedly defiled his granddaughter on several occasions.
Police investigations revealed that the suspect has been having carnal knowledge of the grade 5 pupil at different occasions between unknown dates in 2023 and March 23, 2024, around 11 hours, when he was caught in the act by a concerned neighbor.
The suspect's wife had this to say.
So ine ninkala kufamu tangala chapati babatenga na mzukulu wanga wa mudala so kaili network ishupa ine kanija kwisa chini baba ndaba kaili sama nkola maningi na ine pafupi chini baba ndaba sama nkala na ine pafupi stili pafupi na imwese mbeta shimika vambili.
Members of the community have expressed mixed feelings.
Tibashukuru bakaira ni muntu wabwino maningi babalera bezukuru kuchoka che bakali bana so ine nankala wodaba kumvera family hivi.
Inhani sina kondwele nayo iyeve bashukuru abafrika basenzere boma batiganizireko bana basikana sanga sitonongera bana basikana nongo isikaiti na bana bangono wakazi so abafrika batiganizireko papeve.
Penlop Sikazwe, ZNBC News, Lusaka.
Right, we had two stories, and one of which is one that is talking about installation of, boreholes, and it alludes to the previous story that we had, an issue of cholera. So that is one of, the undertakings or one of the measures that the government has embarked on in liaison with, the community, or rather, non-governmental organizations or concerned, organizations in our society. So they've started with Kanyama, and they're yet to go out to the rest of the constituencies, in the country. And thereafter, we took, a look at a story that is talking about a 60-year-old man, defiling his own granddaughter. And, he's picked by the police, and we're looking forward to see, the law taking its course. Rebate has fallen off. Let's get to hear what Mr. Mkelawai, has as regards this story. Mr. Mkelawai.
Thank you so much, Chaza. Maybe with this first story where the water, I think that one, we can simply say that is part of the solution. If at all, by making boreholes in a community, Kanyama will reduce will reduce the cases of cholera and make people have access to clean water. And if that's part of the mitigatory factors, please, that's what we have been talking about all this time around. It takes two to tango. It's the authorities that have allowed, because they take run rate on those illegal settlers. Those people who have settled in Kanyama, they paying rentals to the government on their property, the plots. So meaning those plots are well within the legal framework, and the government is supposed to provide them with all these services that are supposed to take place, that the government is supposed to provide, where they have to go around and take trash and provide the community with clean water and electricity. So that's the challenge that the government, through their parastatals, have right now. So we are thankful that we can see that something is coming. They are trying to do something to alleviate the chances of having cholera in the future. And we don't want them to just stop just because it's drought time. We want them to continue at a larger scale, and probably send those who are not taking care of the environment properly, or who are so dirty, out to some places where they're supposed to be than being in a city. That's a simple. And coming to the issue of defilement, defilement, I think it's somehow a little bit broad and trying to justify the rape case. That's a criminal offense. when an adult decides to rape a child, and then we want to claim its defilement. I think that's just not been fair to ourselves and to that innocent baby girl that has been defiled, or rather raped. It's a rape case, and the adults that is involved, if at all there's proper evidence, there's prima facie evidence to state that this person really has abused this child, and there's evidence to show that effect through medical exams and other things, then that man should actually be held liable. It's not just that he took advantage, but I think that man is unwell, is sick in the head. So the government, not the government, the prosecutors really need to look into that and put that man in the rightful place where he belongs. And if at all he committed that crime, sometimes it's the way we treat elderly people in our society that makes us start running conclusions just because, and when we don't know the truth, because we have seen the way we treat our old people in Africa, that when someone is old, it's either we start pointing fingers at them as wizard or witch, just because they have problems. Sometimes they have memory problems and they forget to dress up. And when they are found in a compound naked, we start calling them their witch was flying on the pan, on the kabeket, whatever they call it. We conclude, we draw a conclusion without finding out what is really happening. Investigate that case before you even start reporting about defilement. Have proper evidence. Let the court first hear all the evidence in place. Then we can draw that conclusion. But for now, just calling someone a defiler or rather a rapist, well, that's where we're wrong. We don't know the facts. So we need to know the facts before we draw that conclusion. So having said that, I think it's good it's for me, I'll just put up to say, let's wait for the authorities and the right institutions to come up with the right charge over the same old man, and let justice prevail. We shall hear more when we reach that when the judgment has been entered through the giving that man an opportunity to be heard as well. We don't know. He could be innocent. He could be guilty. We have no clue. So we should not just run and rush into conclusions. That's my take for now. I can see that Chaza has fallen out. Maybe I should invite you, Mr. Ribet. What's your position and what's your take on the issues?
All right, Mr. Mkelabai, I was actually, kicked out due to connectivity, and I must believe that I came at the time you were concluding your reaction. All right, let me invite Ribet to actually give us, his reaction to those two stories. Ribet, you can.
Regarding the drilling of boreholes, I think it's a welcome move. I think for me it's a wake-up call that actually we're able to see that the authorities or government is actually committed in preventing this deadly disease, because if they can drill boreholes in all the wards in Lusaka, in these 7 constituencies, somehow it will help. But again, I'll still go back, because drilling of boreholes is another thing. Again, taking care of those properties again is another thing. The boreholes can be drilled quite all right, and tanks are put. You find that because those will be community. Those are community. Those are not personal boreholes. Those are community boreholes. So you find now that we have got that mentality of I don't care. I don't care. Forgetting that tomorrow again we will fall back to where we were. So I don't know now after drilling boreholes how the taking care of these boreholes mechanism that is going to be put in place, because they need to be secured. If they are not secured, then it will be work done is equal to zero, because we can drill today, put tanks. The moment maybe it will just do, it's just 1 year. The following the other year again we are getting back to the shallow wells. So I think we need to have a security mechanism where these boreholes will not be vandalized by ourselves again. So coming to the issue of the defilement, yeah, as Mukelabai has put it, you know, it's very difficult because we don't really know at what state of his mind that grandfather was. So because I heard on the clip there's a woman who was saying, no, this man has been living with the grandchildren. He has raised a lot of grandchildren. But now the question that comes now into my mind is that if he has been raising these children, now what has changed today that he would have actually resorted into that uncalled for the action where he would sleep with his own granddaughter? So really, he needs to be examined to determine his state of his mind, and to know whether he's normal or he's not, whether he's okay. Because if he has been known to be a good man, and looking at his age, for like a grand, not knowing his age, but a grandfather or a grandmother is an older person. So for me, I rule out the issue of to say that no, maybe he got juju so that he can become rich, because at that age, surely, what do you want to achieve what you didn't achieve when you are still a youth? So the people maybe who do want to use juju is our age mates, because we still want to have more, but not at that age. So I think the authority should actually do justice and determine how was his state of his mind at that particular time for him to resort into actually wanting to do canon knowledge with his granddaughter. Coming from where we have been heard to say that actually he has been a good man. Because for me, I think there is something that was wrong. If he has been good all this time and he raised a lot of grandchildren, then there's something that has changed. I think that caused him to involve himself into that act. Yeah. Yes. I'm done.
Chaza, are you there? Chaza? Okay, I think let me try. Can you hear me?
Right,
Ribet?
Ribet, we do appreciate
There you are.
Mr. Mukelabai. We do appreciate
Chaza's network is bad.
Yeah,
we
I
are
think,
so
let
grateful.
me take over. Let me take over. I think for now, we've been trying to get hold of you, but you seem to have a break. Your network is breaking. So I think we have run out of time. We have overshot by 9 minutes. So I think for now we can simply call it an evening due to the technical problem with our moderator. So we can end our program right here. So I believe the director you should pick it up from here. And we just want to thank the viewers for having taken care of or listened to us. And thanks to Mr. Ribet for having participated to our program today. And would love you to have you every time we have this review. Your input is very important. And thanks to our presenter, Mr. Chaza. And we thank the director who was directing our program. And from us and everyone, we say have a lovely Easter. And God bless Zambia and God bless you all. Thank you.